I didn't go like that.
Hi, welcome to the Latimer Line Studios. I'm Tom Latimer. You're visiting my studio. I like to wow people with the entry. So I've gone the extra mile and I hired Michael Thompson to build me some kites, of which I made a lovely frame for. Then you'll see some of my other handiwork as we enter the studio. This is a lovely cherry table. As you'll see, it's a trestle. Has a simple design, been around forever, and cherry is always a desired species in the furniture world, so I topped it off with a cherry top with a natural live edge. Some of the curios we carry around here are just scraps that have fallen, but not by the wayside, if you dig it, I mean. As I said, we'll delve deeper into the studio, and I'd like to show you something that also fell off of the saw table, and that is these. These came from this, which, as you might see, is a frame. A simple frame to which you might envelop your art. If you're making art, you'll need a frame. Now, there's a fellow in the building who makes a lot of art, and better than that, he sells a lot of art. He's got somebody who believes in him. And how did he do it? He projected a positive vibe, and he gave them what they want. You must always give the people what they want. So, simple scrap, yes, fell off the table, fell off the saw table. I was making these frames, and now I've constructed a little mosaic with the simple scraps that I found in my own trash bin. You will find art if you seek it. But through the power of the machinery, you will find you can shape and develop your artistic endeavors, whatever the machine may be. A simple work table is your tableau to pound it out and nail it together. You may find using your hands is the way. So, simple tape measure may be your tool. You're going to find a tool and you're going to use it. That's what humans do. Find your tool and craft your future with it. Thank you.
Well, my name is Morgan, and I think how I feel about art, I guess, is artistic.
How does art make you feel?
I think it makes me feel creative.
What do you think about your mommy's paintings? Do they make you think of certain things? Or?
I think some of them make me feel hungry.
Yeah, like the lemons up there and the asparagus and the tomatoes.
It makes me feel calm.
It makes you feel calm.
My name is Tracy Ostman Hashke, and I became an artist at a young age. I grew up in a family of artists. My grandmother was a painter. My great-grandmother made ceramics and was a painter, and the men were all craftsmen in my family. So, I had an inspiration very early. So I probably made my first painting when I was 15.
Your first painting somewhere?
My first painting ever is not in here. My first painting ever was of children ice skating on a pond. I have to think where that is. So yes, both of my kids now are interested in art. Not right now.
How do you feel about art?
Well, art makes me feel. I make some of my best art when I'm sad or feeling strongly about something that happened or tired.
They are very important people and not just little kids. You know, that's why I always like the junior high level. They're still unsophisticated enough that they're willing to listen to you and believe that they have a talent of some sort. And I tried to bring that out, and I learned as much from them as they did from me. And they gained confidence, and pretty soon I had, 100% of the kids feeling confident enough to put a mark down on a piece of paper or with a paintbrush or a clay piece, whatever.
So what did you teach?
Art.
What in particular? What was your specialty?
Well, my degree was in painting, but I taught everything.
You taught ceramics. You always did a lot of ceramics.
You know, we
Toothpick sculptures.
Yeah, we'd sculpt not just with toothpicks, just all kinds of materials. I talk about art history along the line as much as I could. We always did a unit on architecture. They'd come up with fantastic floor plans, and then we would critique them all and realize how impractical some of their floor plans were, because they were, they were
Fantasizing.
well, yeah, a 24-room house with, and they hadn't figured out how you're going to get around this space.
Right.
And so we talk about Frank Lloyd Wright and a bunch of open people that created some open designs, and they got the message. We figured out the square footage and what a house at that time was going for square foot.
So
wise.
you actually figured out how much it would cost to build it roughly.
When they got up into the tens of millions for their little creation on a piece of paper, they came to realize that space was pretty precious.
How did they feel with their accomplishments?
They turned out some fantastic work. I used to mix all of the clay. I bought it in, I'd have a semi bring in a load of bags of dry clay from Ohio. Beautiful clay, but most art teachers aren't willing to mix it.
Right. And you probably got a lot.
I'm not putting down other art teachers. It's hard work. I had garbage cans, about 5 of them, and I'd keep aging different barrels. But kids could take as much clay as they wanted to build a ceramic piece.
So it didn't have to be so precious. You only get this amount, which is how it is a lot of places.
I'd fire everything. I had the kiln going every night, and had custodians that would turn it off. They only missed once, just about burnt the school down. But
I think I remember
he felt
that story.
terrible. But
She had asked how did the kids feel? She had asked how did the kids feel about their accomplishment.
yeah, well, they felt good because of the way sophisticated adults would look at these pieces. A lot of the kids were afraid to take them home, which I think is a real that's a real loud statement that that isn't the way it should work. it obviously was not professional adult art.
Right.
It was a kid's expression of how they felt at the time. And, they should, some of them were extremely eager to take them home.
Uh-huh.
But I always worried about the kids that left beautiful pieces
Oh,
that they figured their parents would poo-poo. That
wow. They didn't figure it would get a very warm
they
welcome
were
or
afraid to
reception.
take them home. And I have to give the principal that we happened to have at that time, at the end of the year, he'd gather up all these pieces that had never been claimed, and he'd take them home. He loved them. He couldn't wait till the end of the year to find some new pieces to take home, and he had them all over his house with
All the kids
plants
were-
in them. Al Root. That's why I always loved them.
He'd take home the
Yeah.
ones that the kids didn't, yeah.
Are you still doing art?
Yes. There's a piece of my art right at the end
That's
of the
one
hall.
of his
The
beautiful
lower right-hand
drawings.
corner.
The one that the lady is standing right in front of over here. Yeah. you
It's
can-
a pencil drawing.
yeah,
Called
colored pencil.
Celebration.
When did you make that one? I'm gonna go
Excuse
I
look
me?
at
have
it.
a date on it, I'll check.
When did I make that?
Uh-huh.
I don't
know, it probably has a date on it.
I don't see a date actually, but I don't know, what would you guess, Dad? This was actually in an exhibit, we had a family exhibit about in 2011, and my dad showed about 30 of his beautiful colored pencil drawings and about 15 of his magnificent abstract paintings. So, but that could have been, I would say, in the last 10 to 15 years, but he stayed active, all these years working.
Trying to think when I did that too.
I think it's good to keep busy. Right?
Keep busy?
Keep busy.
Well, everybody should keep busy.
But
Not
doing,
just people that in the arts.
well, it's
No,
good.
but I'll always do something in the art line because that's who I am. That's what I've always been. That's what I always wanted to do.
Last year we had art class, and we always used to have fun and make stuff, but this year they said that only the little kids are able to do art and music.
And what do you think?
I think that we older kids should be able to have fun doing art as well,
Why?
because mostly the younger kids don't even really like to do art. They like to go and jump and stuff, and the bigger kids, we like to create stuff and use our imagination with creating things.
So when they take it away from you, what else are they taking away besides art?
Our
Well,
imagination.
Yeah. And what do you think that does to a person when they take your imagination, when they take that away? If you could tell people who are in charge of your school or all the school systems, what would you say to them? How would you?
I would say to them that we should be able, us older kids, we should be also be able to do art and use our imagination and be creative and express our imagination and our feelings through creating things in art. And the little kids should only be the ones to be able to create.
Now, what do you think about all this? He's kind of mad about this.
Well, I kind of think that he's very creative because the simple reason is that he takes things like, oh my God, like I said, toilet paper wrapper. He always says, you know how you the end of the toilet paper. He'll say, "Save that for me. Save the tissue box for me. Save this and this and that." And I'm like, what's all this about? Next thing I know, he gets up in the morning and he just starts creating things, making things out of it. And I thought that was very creative of him.
Are you saving all your things?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. We save all the things for him. And believe me, when he takes the time and he, all of a sudden have a free time for himself, Oh my goodness, he just make things like it ain't nothing. And I'm like, wow, he's very creative in art.
What does it mean to you to be able to bring him to all these studios?
What is it what?
Mean to you? How does it, how does it make you feel to be able to bring him to all these
Well, it makes me feel good to bring him here where he can see different things of art. You see what I'm saying? For he could see that not just so much to put it in paper and black, with the paper and pencil and a crayon, you can take art and do other things with the creators. For example, what he does, and today he learned that you can use what, glass?
Yes.
Glass. You can take some glass and create it into an art. You see, anything, scratch or something, things like that. And he's very creative, and I'm very proud of him. Yeah.